Welcome along to the EXFL Tier 2 Season 8 Austrian Grand Prix. I am F1 Union, your main commentator for tonight, and here we are for round 9 out of 22 for the 8th instalment of Tier 2. Got 14 drivers at the moment, still waiting on one more as we wait for the drivers to head out onto the grid. 18-minute qualifying session ahead of us. As you can always see people getting ready, I think in the Haas garage. There we go, heading out. Both Haas's and the AlphaTauri. Hearing it might be going from dry to wet in the race. There's Roos joining. Hopefully they can get in the Williams. As we have nearly everyone out on track, which is a bit of a surprise. They're all getting a lap in early, unless it's going to rain soon in qualifying. Because you never see Lugovic, championship leader, out this early in a qualifying session. Race winner of last season in Austria. One of his 2 wins, the other following in Mexico later that season. Yes, he leads the championship then. 22 points. Ahead of this man, Josh Hewitt in P6, about to start his run right behind one of the Haas cars. Callum H, who got that win in Monaco, voided. And then last time out in Canada, redeemed himself, got the win. His first maiden Tier 2 win as he starts his flying lap. His teammate Nick back in the Haas in front of Josh, giving him a bit of a slip there. But he's going to be holding him up in dirty air through the corners. Not many corners, the least amount of corners of any circuit. The smallest lap time of any track, only roughly 64 seconds. 65, Logan about to start his lap. Sin Icon back in the car of Mercedes then. An unfortunate race last week. He retired after fighting at the front for pretty much most of the race. No points for him. See if he can bounce it back. Eggy, who had a really strong and encouraging first few races of the season, getting podiums consecutively, to slowly drifting outside the top 5 to fighting for points now. He's lost that second in the, he lost the lead, and now he's lost the second in the standings. He's down in 3rd now. And will it go more backwards, or will he be able to fight his way back to a spot where he can fight for this World Championship, as we are approaching the halfway stage soon, as the 2 Haas is very close to one another. But Josh Hewitt, by 2 and a bit tenths, goes ahead. Cow, half a second off the pace. Cadwell and Frosty, the 2 Aston Martins, the last 2 at the moment. Kua, the only driver this season to take more than 1 victory, and he has taken back-to-back victories, and by 8,000, Sin Icon puts his car ahead of Josh Hewitt. It's closer than ever, as yeah, Kua, the only multiple winner this season, only joined a few races ago. Give me a sec. Right, hopefully that should sort it. Oh no, they're in. They're in. Just telling Roos how to pick their car, but they've done it already. Right, so all that was happening, and it's starting to rain. No wonder they all headed out really early. Oh my gosh! While all that was happening. Seems like that might be quali done then. I mean, there's still a few to do their laps. Cadwell currently on his around the final corner. The time is a 1 minute 4 to beat. He's going to cross the line with a 1 minute 7.1 to go, slowest of the lot. Frosty starting his lap then. His teammate right in front of him, and the 2 Aston Martins make contact. Frosty's lost his whole front wing there. Surprised there's no grid penalty, but Cadwell causing issues once again. Right, so if that is qualifying, Sin Icon by 8 thousandths has taken pole position number 4 of the season ahead of Josh Hewitt's. An all Haas second row. Logan's gone 5th, Kua's gone 6th, Cal, that's his best qualifying in a while, 7th. Then the 2 Alfa Romeos in 8th and 9th. Then Luigi getting into the top 10, covered by 1 second, a lot of them. Bluey Doggo P11, Cadwell P12, Frosty without a front wing. I don't think he'll be able to match anywhere near P12. Ruse is still in the pit lane, and Seb, one of the key names at the front of the field, is going to start this race at the moment outside the top 10. Whether he didn't realise, the track is already interlevel. Didn't realise it was going to get advanced this quickly from dry to wet. And that has got to be one of the closest pole margins I have ever seen in EXFL Tier 2. Maybe even the closest. Oh no, back in Season 1 there were 2 people who set identical lap times for pole. But that is definitely one of the closest. Cadwell says sorry to Frosty, didn't see him coming. Cargo's Long's retired. They may as well all retire then. If it's not going to get dry again, this qualifying is going to be cut short by quite a lot. Frosty not happy with Cadwell. And one by one they're going to be retiring. Hopefully we don't have to wait on anyone. Seb is out. Seb will start this race from the back of the grid. And at the moment all Frosty and Roos are fighting for is 13th and 14th. That's it. Callum's out as well. And yeah, they had 1 lap. No wonder they all headed out really early. Callum out as well. Last week's race winner. P3. Josh is out. P2. That means Sin Icon then is on pole. Back-to-back pole positions for Sin Icon. He got pole in Saudi, he got pole in Imola, he got pole last week in Canada, and now he takes his 4th pole of the season in Austria by only 8 thousandths. It was pretty much a one-shot, this qualifying session. And Sin Icon has topped the timings. Logan, another P5, I believe. I remember Callum H in the Haas and Logan, after 8 races, are 4 apiece. Logan's beaten Callum in 4 qualifyings. Callum's beaten Logan in 4 qualifyings. But now it's 5-4 to Callum, with his P3 to Logan's P5. Logan, Q and Eggy still yet to retire. Same with Cadwell, Frosty and Ruse. Seems like they're going to put a lap time on the board then. And that will be Sin Icon's 7th pole position, which puts him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7th on the all-time list. Well, joint 6th. And it's still just under 10 minutes to go. Seems like we'll just be waiting for these 2 to set their laps. Ruse is out, that's it. I don't think Frosty needs to even do anything then. They crashed at the exit of turn 1. So I don't know why Eggy, Kira and Logan are still in this. Right, Frosty 1.5 seconds off in the wet to pole time. And it's a 49.5. Yeah, this is going to be nowhere near anywhere to challenge Cadwell in P12, who's on the inters as well. Frosty around the final corner then. It will be a 1 minute. 11.2 to go, slowest of the runners, P13, and nothing else is going to change. So if Logan, Eggy and the 2 Astons can retire, there's one of them, that would be great. Still waiting on these three to retire. Oh wait, Eggy's out on an out lap. Oh, he's heading back in. Right, Logan's retired, Eggy's retired, just waiting on Cadwell. There we go. Right, 9,000s, not 8,000s. Right then, by 9,000, Sin Icon takes pole position, number 4. It's a 4.2. Solid, very good lap from Sin Icon, considering that they're all bankers. 4.2 then for the Mercedes, 4.2 for Josh, then an Haas second row. Logan and Callum split by the Alpine of Cua, then the two Alfa Romeos and the Red Bull of Luigi to round out the top 10. We've got Bluey, Cadwell, Frosty, Roos and Seb to round out the outside. I believe it might be a dry to wet race, so it depends if it's overcast or it's sunny. Like it is now, it was, I believe, full wet or interlevel all race last season, so it's nice to get some dry action. So let's see how they favour the 15 drivers. Not fully sure if there is going to be rain, but we will wait and see. If the clouds get darker, then that's a sign. Right, we are probably about close to 10 minutes earlier than expected, with it only being 1:15, and we're already gearing up for the race. It's going to be over pretty much before 8 o'clock. We're all going to get done in an hour anyway, as they change their fuel, their strategy, and their setup. We're going to load in to 36 laps around the Red Bull ring. Just one Red Bull today, and they're sitting in P10. But yes, let's see. Round number 9 out of 22. What can EXFL Tier 2 have in favour for us tonight? We're getting closer and closer into the second third of the season, and it starts right here, right now in Austria. The 5 lights come on as the revs rise, and it seems like the Haas has moved a bit, but it's lights out and away we go. A little bit of lag. It's Sin Icon versus Josh Hewitt, then off the line, and at the moment single file for the top 3. Then the Haas, then the McLaren around the outside, hitting the Haas and having to go wide is Logan, making a mistake there as Cua opportunises that move, and Sin Icon loses the lead to Josh Hewitt, who's blasting his battery, and Sin Icon seems like he's going to lose another place to Callum. So swaps already in the top 3 as Callum moves over and hits Sin Icon a little bit there, goes off the track, and now Small Nick is struggling with Cure and the 2 McLarens, and then the 2 Alfa Romeos in formation like there were. Bluey has gotten ahead of Luigi, Frosty ahead of his teammate, and Small Nick defending from Cow as the McLarens look to try and gain on an overtake. Down the inside goes Callum on Logan, can't quite get the move done, but both Hasses struggling at the moment as Callum did manage to get back ahead of Sin Icon. There with it, a bit of moving under braking. It's Josh Hewitt then who leads out as his teammate Seb up in the 13th head of Roos. Frosty down to last as Cadwell maintains P12. Luigi in 11th, Bluey 10th, the 2 Alfa Romeos, then the 2 McLarens, Cua, then Small Nick, and then the top 3. Sin Icon then losing pole down to 3rd, and this I was going to say, this race is really going to be about penalties. You thought Canada was bad, this is going to be even worse. If any driver today gets no penalties, they are in a great position for some good points. But at the moment, by end of lap 1, Small Nick already has one. Biggest gainer at the moment is Seb, now making it 3 places as he gets ahead of Cadwell. We'll change it to tyres. Riding on board with the Alpha Tauri then. And down the inside, Cadwell has a look back down the inside of Seb. He tags Luigi, which makes Cadwell lose time to Roos and Seb. Opportunistic is the Aston Martin, who's already been involved in 1 collision, and it's with his teammate as it's Aston back and second last. Wheel to wheel, Roos versus Seb. Seb on the mediums versus Roos on the hard compound tyres. They're still wheel to wheel. And does Roos let him go? Yes, they do. Bluey still maintaining in the points until he goes onto the gravel a little bit there, and that allows Luigi into P10. He's going to try the switch back, and he's going to be blasting his battery. Pulls to the inside of the Mercedes versus the Red Bull into the final couple corners. They're going to emerge here, and flying right is Bluey versus Luigi. Luigi right behind him, and now switches to the inside does Luigi as Bluey goes off, and through goes Seb to get one, and maybe he can get the pair of them. It's a 6-car fight for 1 point, and at the moment it's Seb versus Luigi wheel to wheel. Round the outside goes the AlphaTauri on its sister team. What a move from Seb, but he's still there as Luigi, as Bluey's watching this unfold. Seb with the DRS. Luigi's going to get absolutely swamped by the pair, as Bluey's now going to try and get the pair of them, but Seb late on the brakes, stays ahead of Bluey, and Bluey trying a switch, but down the inside goes Cadwell, positioning his car right in front of Luigi. Some aggressive moves here as Seb flies away into P10. Bluey then has 4 cars behind him to deal with, and it's Luigi, Cadwell, Ruse and Frosty as they stay at the moment how they are, with Luigi staying in front of Cadwell. Further back to the front, some wheel-to-wheel action here. Logan versus Nick. Nick's lost position to Q, and Nick comes back round the outside of the championship leader. Logan down the inside of Nick. They make slight contact. That allows Nick to go wide, and Logan to get the place at the moment. And arriving on the scene is also Eggy, as we've got a yellow in the back of Luigi. Seems like he's had a spin. Nick versus Eggy for P6 at the moment. They leave each other enough room, just about side by side. Can they make it wheel-to-wheel action? Yes, they can. And they stay facing forward as for now. Cargo's Blanc also on the mix, trying to get ahead of Callum. Down the inside, the McLarens versus the Alfa Romeos. Down the inside of the Haas as well. Can Cargo's Blanc get 2 moves? Yes, he can, as Nick making more mistakes, losing more places. Down to P8. Or will it be P9 as Seb has arrived on the scene too? Small Nick, who started this race in 4th, down to P10 already. Round the outside of Seb. Down the inside goes the McLaren of Cal versus, as a move for the lead. Callum now takes the lead ahead of Josh. It's all happening. Overtakes where you look. Sin Icons just vibing in no man's land. Down the inside goes Logan on Q. Can't quite get the move done. Eggy, then Cargo's Blanc, then Callum. Seb versus Small Nick, still wheel to wheel are the two. And it's the Haas versus the AlphaTauri. Down the inside goes the Haas. Seb, can he hang it round? At the moment, he can, as losing the rear there. And Seb might get a pair of them again. Round the outside, this is brave stuff from the AlphaTauri. Can he make it stick? Yes, he can. He opportunises that risk of making the move after the mistake of Callum. And Nick round the outside of Callum. Can he make the move stick? Callum giving him the room he deserves. Round the outside fully goes the Haas. This will be brilliant if he can make the move stick. And he has. What some brilliant moves we're seeing in the opening few laps of the Austrian Grand Prix. No major collisions just yet, besides whatever happened to Luigi, but some great racing, as more racing for the lead now. Josh down the inside of Callum to take back the lead. Little bit of a loss of the rear, but they still maintain enough space. Callum with the ERS, Josh with the DRS to stay ahead of Callum, who have the inside line, and he should hold on to the lead. P1 then for Josh Hewitt, then Callum, and Sid. Kua still under pressure from Logan, who goes down the inside, and can Kua try a switch back on the McLaren driver. He's going to try his best. He's going to use his battery, as we got a yellow, and that is the Aston Martin of Frosty Life dropping down on a straight. Don't know what happened there, Tim. But yeah, Logan is ahead of Kua now, but they're just going to be DRSing one another. Sin Icon, like I said, is just not close enough to the front and way ahead of everyone behind. Right, 6th of the way done then. Kua behind Logan. Then Eggy, not too far away, showing some good pace this time, as Seb already up to 7th from 15th place. He's right on the mark at the moment, the AlphaTauri, making up places, making up ground. But he's got some pressure behind of Cargo's Blanc and Small Nick and Callum. The last 4 of the points paying positions, as Kua gets back ahead of Logan. And slight contact there between Cargo's Blanc and Seb. Cargo's Blanc aggressive on the defence, we saw in Canada. And aggressive on the overtake as well. As we see Callum and Nick and Logan and Kua wheel to wheel. There we go, Logan down the inside of Kua. Kua once again going to try the switch. They're going to wheel to wheel, but Logan with the inside should maintain P4 for now. Let's look at that. Seb's already flashing. He's used everything he has to get into this position. Action everywhere you look. Overtakes galore. As we got a yellow, it's Cadwell. So that makes the last 3 in the race the 3 victims of any collisions or mistakes. Because Luigi spun, then Frosty had something, now it's Cadwell going off there. Luigi's going to see him in his sights on the softs. Same with Bluey. As Seb gets overtaken by Small Nick into turn 1. And now he's going to try the switch back with 10% battery. Can he make it? He's going to be in the slip of the Alfa Romeo, but Nick's going to use... Oh, he has as well. And they're going to make slight contact as well. Nick just turns in. And he's lost his whole front wing. Safety car deployed because of the impact. Don't know if Nick just turned right, but the second lap in a row, Seb is with someone as there's a collision between Roos and Bluey. And that causes a safety car. Top 6 all on the medium. Same with Seb, same with Nick. But Callan, James, and Roos looking to go long. Don't know what happened there. Roos has a 3-second. Yeah, don't know if Nick just turned across onto Seb and they made them lose the car. Whatever the case, safety car, and the top 2 stay out as Sin Icon comes in. Interesting. Cura in, Logan in, Eggy stays out, car goes long, then Seb, then Cow who stays out. No shenanigans in the pit lane. Small Nick in, no speeding. Bluey in to serve that 5 set, Roos stays out. Let's change it to tyres. Sin onto the hards, everyone else behind him on the mediums. Small Nick pitting for softs. Interesting. Cadwell changing his tyres then onto softs as well, same with Luigi. Bluey onto the hards, Frosty, that'll help him bring him back into this race. So if you're just joining, we had a dry to wet qualifying where the drivers literally had one chance. It was pretty much a one-shot qualifying to set their lap time before it started raining. By 8 thousandths, Sin Icon took pole ahead of Josh. So we finished qualifying about 7 minutes earlier than expected. The race began. It was Josh versus Callum versus Sin. Josh and Callum broke away from Sin as there was a bit of a moment between Sin and Callum into 3 on the opening lap. Callum moving over a little bit, but then Josh and Callum had their few swaps. Ended with Josh staying ahead of Callum, and a few overtakes throughout the whole field, a few spins for the bottom 3. Well, bottom 4, not Bluey. And then there was a safety car between Seb and Nick. Nick had an incident. And yeah, at the moment that's caused the first safety car of the race. An array of strategies happening here. The top 3 staying out on their mediums. Callum and Roos staying out on their hards. Sim pitting for hards. Don't know if they can really go to the end. Q at Logan, Cargus long, and Seb pitting for mediums. They'll have to make another stop. And if they started on mediums, that means they'll take these mediums to the hards and go to the end. Small Nick, Luigi and Cadwell, not too sure what their play on this is unless they can do what people in front of them are doing and go to the hards as well. Bluey on the hards, same as Sin Icon, and Frosty is pitted for a new set of mediums, just like these 4. And at the moment there are 3 people with penalties: Cadwell, Small Nick, and Roos. Nick, I think he might get his removed. He's talking about being forced off the track. It is going to be interesting, the tyre difference between these 3 compared to these 4. 7 laps difference, as the safety car will be in next lap, I believe. But yeah, a lot of action in those opening laps. A lot of great moves around the outside of turn 7 and the final 2. A lot of bravery happening. someone in front makes a mistake, they are not going to think twice about going for it. Saw Seb with a few. And yeah, at the moment, single file, all calm and collective. Hope everyone who's watching is having a good evening so far. It's been a crazy first 10 laps, like usual, but we've still got 26 to go, and it should be in this lap, with Josh leading them away. And so far we still have all 15. It was the impact of Small Nick losing his whole front wing that, when that sort of impact happens, it tends to usually cause a safety car. In full honesty, I thought Nick was actually going to crash out of the race. Those kind of barriers do tend to take your tyres off. But anyway, safety car's in this lap. Josh Hewitt will lead them away. Winner of the opening round. Hasn't really had that sort of result since. It's Q and Ruse are having something there. There's been a bit of a kerfuffle here, but hopefully they maintain it. Josh needs to speed up the pace a little bit, hopefully. But yeah, Josh Hewitt, who's been in this sort of position a lot this season, but maintaining it, as, yep, already some between Sin and Ruse, is a difficult one. Because Josh has always managed to maintain consistency with getting a lot of penalties. Let's see if tonight he can break that streak, as Josh Hewitt then crosses the line as Seb has got a penalty somehow. As going into the pit lane is Bluey Doggo. Anyway, Josh from Callum, from Eggy, from the other cow, from Sid versus Ruse. They've each got 5 seconds. Then Kua, then Logan, Cargo's Blog and Seb complete the top 10. Who's close for an overtake? Does anyone try anything? Down into turn 3. The Williams not quite going to get Sin, as Morgan right behind the Williams has to just brake a little bit more than he wanted. Out in front, they're all blasting some battery to stay in their position. At the moment, no sense of overtakes yet, just staying behind one another. Frosty's fallen off a bit, Bluey's fallen off a lot. Something happened because he's already pitted. Don't know if it was to serve a penalty, but the only 5 seconds now are Ruse and Sin. And considering they're, yeah, Ruse hasn't even pitted yet, and Sin, not sure, but Ruse will definitely serve that, so that won't get removed. Kua right on the back of the Williams. Sin right on the back of Cal. We start lap 12 then. Josh still with a decent lead ahead of Callum. Cadwell now gets a penalty, the second penalty of the afternoon, of the evening for him. Cal P4. He's had a bit of an unlucky run since his maiden win in Australia, and hopefully tonight is a night where he can come back and get some good points as Kua makes the first move at the restart, back ahead of Ruse. Oh, and down the inside goes James, little opportunistic, makes slight contact with Logan's side pod, but Logan has the better traction to stay ahead of the Alfa Romeo. Will he go defensive? Yes, he will, as Seb now gets ahead of James, and will Seb try and move on Logan? Not quite, will have to stay behind for now, so they both maximise that opportunity to get ahead of Cargo's Blanc. At the moment, look at this, it's a DRS train from first all the way down to 13th. Well, Eggy's dropped out of a second of Cal at the moment. And a little bit of wheel-to-wheel action here between Cal and Sin Icon, who's getting the place on the McLaren. And Morgan just has to stay behind for now, so Sin Icon making moves up into P4. Now he sets his sight on Eggy, the only driver of the top 14 now to not be within DRS of another car. They're all so close to one another. This has recipes for disaster written all over it, but it could have promise. As look at all these cars flying past with DRS. Eggy's going to get absolutely done by Sin Icon down the inside, and maybe Cal too, but he thinks better of it. Morgan around the outside, then Ruse, then going off there is Nick. And Luigi and Cargo's Blanc down to P12 now, as Cadwell and Frosty are going to be battling right at the back. Any sorts of moves, wheel to wheel here between Kua and Cal. Round the outside goes Kua on new mediums. Cal can't do anything. Sin gets another penalty. He's up in a third though, and he will get rid of that 5 second if there is another safety car this race, but he's going to try and take those hards to the end of the race as the top two stay how they are. Ruse versus Cal, who's dropping down even more. He lets his teammate go as Seb is now pushing Cal through the corners. Cal, who didn't pit on those 13 lap old hards, is struggling. Nick, does he try and move around the outside of Seb? Not quite on the softs. And Eggy and Kua now battling. Kua gets ahead of Eggy at the final corner. And once again, Wheel to wheel here. Seb now gets ahead of Cal. Nick trying to get the pair of them, but thinks better of it because that would be awful as he's hit the back of Cal there. And Cal's gone off. And he's got a 3 set before he's even rejoined. So that'll be removed if he sends it incorrectly. But yeah, something happened there. Top 2 as they are. Sin Icon as he was. And now Kua versus Eggy versus Ruse versus Logan. Onto the gravel there is Seb, as we can tell by his left side tyre. Cal getting a pair of the Astons. But Frosty's coming back at the McLaren. Any sorts of moves. Wheel to wheel there. The Williams and the McLaren almost taking each other out with Logan and Ruse. A lot of trust in there to make sure Logan can stay ahead. And for now, they remain as they are. Battles galore. And yeah, Cal unfortunately down to 14th there. Not really his fault, as Sin has caught right up to the pair in front of him. And he has more battery than the pair of them. And Kuas too. Eggy. I think he stayed out. Yeah, he stayed out on medium, so his are going to be the most worn of anyone's at the moment. And Logan is wasting no time down into turn 1, already getting ahead of the Alfa Romeo. Seb down the inside versus Ruse. And once again, 3rd time on this straight, Seb has made contact with his left tyre to someone else's, but it was probably the weakest of the 3 as Ruse defending to the inside. And now tries a move down the inside of Eggy. And Seb under pressure from Nick as they're 3 wide there, and all of them have to make it trembling out of the exit. And under pressure there, Seb on Cargos Blanc. Eggy versus Ruse. Ruse is ahead of Eggy. Cargos Blanc versus Seb. Seb down the inside of the Alfa Romeo. Banging wheels there, but he gets ahead of him. And Small Nick dropping down the order there. Small Nick with a 5-second penalty for cutting. He must have got an illegal overtake. And his race gets from bad to worse then. Luigi also dropping down. Cal making up a couple of places. Yeah, this is the part where they start to split up a bit. Sin Icon's right on the back of Cal and Josh, who both go into pit lane. Don't know if I heard some contact there. But yeah, Josh and Cal now pit. After 16 laps, they'll pit onto the hards. They can go to the end. But if there's any sort of safety car in the next couple of laps, they are going to be hating themselves as Cal causes yellows. And hopefully that doesn't cause anything, otherwise they will start getting really annoyed as Cal luckily clears the greens. And now Seb versus Eggy for P5. Seems like it's one of the easier moves Seb has done. As Ruse and Cal still yet to pit. Big up Danny. As yeah, Cal making a move on Callum now. The 2 Alfa Romeos swapping. Yeah, see it then. As a move for P4, Ruse versus Seb. Seb has much more better traction. Does he try a switch? He's nearly lost it. And he has to make sure he doesn't. And that's lost him a bit of ground as Cargos Blanc is right on the back of them. Eggy trying to hold on. Surely he'll come into the pits this lap. As Logan versus Kua versus Sin. Sin hasn't won this season. He's had 4 poles but no wins as Seb gets another time penalty. Sin holds the record for most seasons in a row with a victory on 3 compared to everyone else behind him on 2. But this could make it 4 if he does get a victory this season, which would double it. But at the moment, with 8 seconds of penalties, that's not going to be the case. Cadwell, 5 seconds for speeding. Nick versus Ruse. P8 and 9. Ruse into the pit lane. That's why. And now, are we going to see a fight for the lead? Kua down the inside of Sin Icon to take the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. Logan, last season's race winner and championship leader. Just watching this behind. Once again, with more ERS. As Kua, another person who can save his ERS pretty well. As Sin Icon is coming back for more down the inside to retake the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix as the Mercedes maintains P1. A 3-car battle for the top 3 and then a 4-car battle for 4th down to 7th. Frosty Life has managed to hang on to these guys. He's getting some consistent points this season, battling with a few of these in the standings. Names of Cal and others. But at the moment, yes, Seb struggling with no ERS to break away from Cargos Blanc, who has about 9 times more ERS than him. Small Nick with 8 seconds in no man's land. Josh Hewitt letting Cal follow him like they were. They are 16 seconds off the lead. As we're going to see more changes probably. Seb 4 seconds off with 6 seconds at the moment. The 2 Alfa Romeos looking good for some points unless Eggy does that, and that allows Frosty to get ahead of Eggy. But Eggy on half the race distance lap old tyres is going to be pitting soon as Kua retakes the lead. Yellow in the last slot on the grid, it's Bluey as Frosty gets fully ahead of Eggy now. Bluey Dogger with a 3-set, everything happening. And yeah, Kua now into the lead. Top 4 on the same lap range of tyres, except Sin's on the hards. Remember, he's going long. These lot will probably have to stop again as we are at half race distance. See, Callum is just sticking with Josh here. Double the ERS he has as Ruse gets ahead of Luigi. 14 seconds for Cadwell. Ay, ay, ay. Cal currently in 11th, a bit on his own at the moment as we got a yellow, and it's Frosty Life. He's crashed, and that's caused the safety car. And I don't know where Nick's going, but he's going to head into the pit lane. Frosty Life has crashed off at the end of the final corner there. Don't know what's happened, but that's going to allow the drivers to pit, but the leaders missed the pit lane. Eggy in then. Where's Josh? Josh is in again. Where's Cal? He's staying out. Hewitt's in again as Bruce has left. All happening as we lose our first driver from this race. Frosty Life, unfortunately, his teammate serving a 5-set. Cal pitted. Bruce has left. Luigi, then Nick. Wait, what? Nick. And then Josh Hewitt pits for mediums to go to the end. Eggy, he'll be able to pit now. Callum, he's stayed out. And I think he'll inherit the lead, but it'll be close. What will the top 3 do? Because if they haven't pit for hards, they can pit for hards now. But what will Sin Icon do? He's already pitted for his hards. He's going to have to go mediums to the end. No attempts at overtaking in the pit lane. There's an attempt. Logan doesn't have to use those tyres again. So a bit of grass on them won't hurt. Seb in. Car goes long. Cal, who stays out, who should get the lead, but he is to a delta. And Kua exits the pit lane. He's already a 2-time race winner this season. The only driver to get multiple victories. And at the moment, he's going to maintain that lead as Cal, round the final corner, doesn't get it. Kua maintains the lead. Then Callum, then Logan, then Seb. Sin Icon lost some ground as he got rid of that 5-second penalty, of course. Eggy! He did pit. Okay. I thought he didn't. Right then, this is interesting as Callum was definitely ahead of Logan, so yeah, second. Bruce in. Hopefully they can get back in their car. Right, so Kua on new hard, same with Logan and Seb. Seb, who's brought himself right back into this, but unfortunately the penalties are going to hinder him. Logan, Callum and Kua are all really great at not getting any pens, so this is going to be a fight for position. And Callum, 4 lap extra on hards might affect him a bit, but he's got the pace. Sin and Cargo's Blanc on new mediums, so they're going to have to look after them for a bit, but they can make it to the end. Eggy on new hards. He's got 4 people behind him on new mediums. Luigi on 4 lap hold mediums. Roos. Wait, the AI's pitted them back onto 16 lap hold hards. Great. Trying to get Roos back. There we go, back in. Hopefully take control of the car. It's Frosty's left, but he's out of the race, unfortunately. Safety car might be in the slot, depends if Bluey catches the pack. They're about to come up to the safety car line. And it should be in the slot. There we go, right. Kiewit will now lead the pace for the second safety car of the evening. It's going to slow right down as the Alpine. Hewitt led the first start, now he's down in 8th. His closest rival was in 2nd as Cadwell and Bluey are trying to get past Roos. And I think they've got illegal overtakes on them, so Roos needs to hurry back ahead of them. Hopefully that's all good, and they can join the pack before we get going. Here we go then. 15 laps ahead of us as Kua has gone then, ahead of Cal, ahead of Logan, and then Seb, Cargos Blanc, Sin Icon, Eggy, Josh Smolnik, and then Luigi. At the moment, no 3-second penalties on exit, but there is a bit of a loss of traction there for Cadwell's. Bluey right behind them, P14 out of the lot of them. At the moment, Kua then will lead, no mistakes on the exit of turn 1 for any of them. But we see Cal blasting his battery to retake the lead as he's ahead of Kua now into turn 3. So the Haas back into P1. Down the inside goes Luigi on the inside of the Haas. For P9, Callum watching this all unfold. Cadwell versus Roos. Louis watching that. As Luigi gets ahead of Smolnik to Smolnik. Dare around the outside. Down to the inside. It's Josh Hewitt round the outside to get ahead of Eggy. What a move from the AlphaTauri with so much more confidence on the braking and trust in Eggy. And now down the inside, Luigi versus Nick. Nick, tight line to the inside, but Luigi gets back ahead. And so far, so good with the overtakes. And it's going to be a DRS train once again, but it seems like they're already halving it as Luigi almost a second behind, now a second behind the top 8. Switch it back to penalties at the moment as Roos gets a second one. Oh, there's a slide there for Roos. They loses the P13 and they drop down to last now. As going off there, Sin Icon making a mistake. That allows Josh Hewitt versus Sin Icon to now get into P6 as there's some wheel-to-wheel action. Kua stays behind for now, then Logan, then Seb, then Cargos Blanc. Now Josh up in a 6th ahead of Sin Icon. Eggy trying to hold on to the pace. Yeah, 10th all the way down to 14th. 5 cars in a row with penalties. 6-3, 9-3, 6, and only 2 of the top 9 with penalties. Seb with 6, Sin with 3. So at the moment, 7 without penalties as Kua's right on the back of Callum, pretty much pushing him, nearly spinning him on the entry to turn 6. Callum using all the battery he has at the moment. Well, Josh Hewitt, yeah, same with him, as dropping down the orders. Luigi onto the gravel. And here comes Cadwell around the outside of the Red Bull. Stays in front of him for now. Campbell loses the rear a little bit. And fight for the lead under a 10th between Callum and Kua. Roos in. So here comes Kua, the Alpine. Last week's race winner versus the only multiple race winner this season, Luigi 3-second down the inside. Goes the Alpine versus the Haas wheel to wheel. Leaves him enough room there. Inches close to one another as Logan watches this unfold. He's in the slipstream of the Alpine. He's spotting the gap as Kua will retake the lead as he has the DRS to help him. Seb watching this all unfold. Logan down the inside of Callum. Catches him off guard a little bit. And now Seb is going to maximise that to go wheel to wheel with the Haas. Logan making the moves when it counts. Round the outside goes Seb, but Callum on the inside defends for all he can. Seb round the outside versus Callum. Callum tight line. Do they make contact? No. Amazingly, Seb stays ahead of the Haas, and now Cargos Blanc has to defend from the other AlphaTauri, who's squeezing into a gap but can't quite get past Cargos Blanc, pushing him round as Callum lags a little bit. He lagged at the start when the 5 lights went out, and he's lagged right there. Kua then in the lead. Logan, what a send to catch Callum. And now maybe he'll catch P1 again if he can win the Austrian Grand Prix 2 seasons in a row and extend that championship lead he has. That would be great for him as Luigi and Cadwell swap. Hewitt down the inside of Cargos Blanc, making another move. A little bit of wheel banging to place his car perfectly in front of the Alfa Romeo. And now he's going to be blasting his battery to stay ahead. Cargos Blanc has much more in hand, but Josh Hewitt just needs to make sure he gets these positions as now Logan takes the lead of the race with 11 laps to go. Logan, the championship leader, into P1. Seb in P3 from last on the grid. But with 6 seconds of penalties, he will certainly not be winning this Grand Prix at the moment. Callum and Josh, first and second for a lot of this race, now in 4th and 5th. Small Nick with a second penalty. And that's the last 6 now, all with pens. And Eggy just trying to hang on to this 8-car train for the lead. And with 10 to go, oh, ruse. And with 10 laps to go, Kira on the back of Logan, he's gaining and gaining and gaining. He goes to the inside, there's the DRS line. Logan breaks earlier to get it, Cadwell with a 3 second. And Seb watching this unfold, but Logan will now have the DRS. Can he get back ahead of Kua? As Sin Icon now gets ahead of Cargo's Blanc, and it's the 2 Alfa Romeos at the back of the 8-car train. There comes Logan back ahead of Kua to retake the lead, coming right across into the Alpine's path. But no love lost, good racing at the front. Luigi versus Cadwell for P11 at the moment, close to contact. Cadwell has to let Luigi go for now. And Smolnik versus Cal for P9. This is for position between the two of them. Luigi, if he can gain another 1.5 seconds, can get them. Josh and Callum flashing. The top 3 are leaving them a bit there, with good amounts of ERS, even for Seb. It's an Icon using a bit of his. Same with Cargos Blanc. Eggy nearly outside of it. So 10 to go then. Callum H now gets a 3-second penalty. 1 by 1 they're falling as Josh is on the back of the Haas. And Kua to the inside, breaks a little early. Now he'll get the DRS. Logan will get the traction to stay ahead of Kua, and he's planting that car in the right places as Josh and Callum are fighting once again, wheel to wheel. Callum is not using his ERS. Josh is using all he has left. And does Seb try and move? No. Does Callum try and move? A little bit of a hit in the back of Josh there, but Josh has got the move. As here comes Sin Icon on Callum. He's got all his ERS to burn after that 40% at the start of the lap, and now he's been spun by Callum. Eventually something was going to happen, and Sin Icon's race has been ruined because of that. Can he get back towards them? We'll find out. But yeah, he was on 40% at the start of the lap. He was burning all the way down to 10. He tried the inside on Callum, and going to have to watch it back to see whose fault that really was. Callum turned. It wasn't a lot of space, but did Sin just go into him? Not quite sure. We got a safety car for some reason. Why have we got a safety car? Did Cadwell? I think Cadwell lost his wing. So they're all going to be pitting for softs. We'll find out. Do they? Yeah, he's like, oh, Cadwell. Right then, 3rd safety car then. That means the bottom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people have penalties. Callum with 3, Seb with 6, so that just leaves 5. The 2 Alfa Romeos, who could still be on for quite a good points finish here. Josh, he's one to watch. No penalties for once. But it's Logan versus Kira at the moment. Any sorts of overtakes happening in the pit lane? Not quite. Alfa Tauri, as well as Alfa Romeo, are going to... Whoa, Callum. He's going to try and move, but it's not going to work. Yeah, they're going to get held. Logan and Kua, no issues for them. Coming into the pits then, Josh going to get held by Seb a little bit. This will allow Callum to get back ahead, and Cargos Blanc to get ahead of all of them, really. Bluey stays out. Bluey is in P4. Oh, this is going to be fun. Bluey, drive. Oh my god, it's not going to be fun anymore. What's happening between Kira and Logan? They may have just had to stop because of the safety car. Right, those 3 are fine, I guess. It's mainly going to be these 2 fighting for the lead. Seb with 6 seconds with this many laps to go isn't going to get the gap. Bluey has a drive-through, so he's going to have to serve that. Hopefully he knows after the safety car and not this lap. Cargos Blanc. He has not had a podium yet. He's raced I don't know, 12-ish races, 14 races, something like that, maybe 15. And he has not had a podium yet, but he's besting his teammate recently, who was leading the championship for a few races. So yeah, he's stepping it up. He has an aggressive driving style in terms of defense and attack. He can do some one-lap wonders. Can he get his first podium tonight? Callum with a 3-set, he's going to be putting him under pressure. Josh Hewitt, he'll be looking to gain some places with no pens. Same with Eggy. Has the safety cars in already. Tyres, Bluey's on 10-lap old mediums, of course he is. Roos, I don't think they're in the car, no. So everyone who's, you know, got a brain is on the softs. And it'll be in this lap. Is Bluey going to serve? No, he does know. So it depends on his pace, really, if he can keep it up and not be too much of a blockage for the guys behind to serve that drive-through soon. Car goes long on the back as we resume racing. 6 to go, or 7, including this lap. Logan versus Kua for the win then. Logan looking for his second win of the season. Kua looking for his third win of the season to really play the challenge, as Bluey with a drive-through really should be getting out of the way of them lot. As down the inside goes Josh Hewitt, touching the back of the Haas there, as the other Haas is Smolnik watching this unfold. Bluey just going to let them go at the moment. Let them blast all their battery. Bluey not doing anything. It's smart. It's sensible from him. As his teammate, Sin Icon, is ahead. As Eggy not quite close enough to overtake. That's sensible. That's good stuff from Bluey. Unfortunate to get the drive through, but he's doing the right thing to let them all go. Good on Bluey. Right, top 2 are going to fight for the win then. Logan, he was fighting McLaren driver who accidentally picked the Mercedes last season, as Nick gets another penalty. He's in the same spot, but it's not in the wet this time. It's in the dry. And at the moment, we don't know how many warnings each of them have. If any of them get them, the other one's going to win the Grand Prix. And Cargos Blanc is along for the ride, but he's under pressure from Callum in the Haas, who's got a penalty. You never know if any of these could get removed. Josh Hewitt then, he's got to push and get through the order if he wants a chance at victory. Smolnik, 9 seconds. If he's going to get one removed, he's still going to have 2 others. He's under pressure from Sin Icon, as the safety car has brought him back into play. Wheel to wheel then, the Haas versus the Mercedes. The Haas breaks later. Down the inside, Sin will try the switch, but can't quite get the traction he needs. Heggie on the back of him. Callum too far to lunge a challenge. Sin using all his battery, using the slip, pulls out now to the inside. Nick goes defensive. Sin Icon breaks later. Down the inside goes the Mercedes, and he gets up into 7th. Clean move on Nick, who's now under pressure from Eggy, who's going to try around the outside. Nick using what he can, but Eggy with the battery goes around the outside of Nick and gets the move done. Nick has been done by the pair of them, and Nick and Sin and Eggy are going to feel good about that, and they hope to take the challenge to the top 6, who are all in DRS. It's going to be a DRS game between the top 2. Seb, I don't think, has enough to challenge them, but 15th to 3rd, at least on track, is going to be great for him. Logan, fastest lap of the Grand Prix. That's the extra point he needs. But it's going to be down to him versus Kua. Josh, who won the opening round. Marine won the 2nd race. He went up to tier 1 as Callum gets ahead of Cargos Blanc. Cal won the 3rd race. Logan won the 4th race. Seb won the 5th race. Morgan won the 7th and 6th and 7th. And then Callum, this man, won the 8th. So yeah, Morgan looking for his 3rd win of his career and this season in only, what, his 5th race? Which is crazy, because he actually hasn't been the quickest out there, but his strategy, his racecraft and his consistency has been on point. And in tier 2, anything is possible. And Logan looking for his 2nd win of the season. He won in Baku. And can he win in Austria? We've only been, maybe even, not even a handful, a couple of names in tier 2 history have won the same Grand Prix twice. One of them is the only retirement of this Grand Prix. That might be a warning for Logan. Frosty Life, who's won the United States Grand Prix more than once, I believe. And maybe Bram at Australia? Yes. So could Logan join that list? We will wait and find out. We've got 4 laps to go of the Austrian Grand Prix. At the moment, no moves happening. Besides Luigi and Cadwell, they've been at it always. Cabo back down the inside of Luigi, but stays behind for now. Loses it a bit. Callum defending from them. Smolnik on the back of Eggy, who's on the back of Sin Icon, flashing. Josh Hewitt down the inside of Cargos Blanc. Can he try a switchback? That's beautiful from Cargos Blanc to get back ahead of the AlphaTauri. But due to that battling, has left the top 4 to lead away. And Hewitt just has to make sure he stays within. We'll put it to leader then. Eggy gets ahead of Sin Icon with a bunch more ERS than him. Sin Back round the outside. He's been involved in the collision here with Callum. Eggy lets him go. He's playing fair. Wants to work with him. And Seb is just not close enough to queue up. So it's going to be the top two fighting. Callum's just trying to hang on, get that 3-second gap to as many drivers behind as possible. The bottom 6, all with penalties. Eggy could still gain. Cargo's block. Oh, and into the wall! Sin Icon! Is there going to be a safety car? We've only got a few laps left. I don't think so. But Sin Icon, once again, it's another retirement for him as he lost it and now is out of the Grand Prix. As there's a change of leadership with 3 to go, it's Kua versus Logan. And it's Logan playing into this. Has Logan got a plan? As Josh Hewitt now does get ahead of Cargo's Blanc. These two fighting for a podium, essentially. Here we go then. Kua versus Logan. So far, it's been great fighting battles between the two. Kua now with the switch back on Logan. Does he try it with no ERS left? Logan still has 40%. Kua's giving it everything he has to get this 3rd win. Logan giving it everything he has to get his 2nd win and extend his advantage. As we are heading on to the penultimate lap. Callum has got ahead of Seb while that was happening. Josh needs to stick with them as he's ahead of Cargo's Bond. These two are fighting for P3 at the moment of who's going to get the podium. Josh Hewitt, runner-up in the championship at the moment, is currently losing a whopping 15, well, it's going to be 10 points to his rival. And if Kua can win today, that would really help Hewitt out. But for now, it's going to be down to the last lap. And if Kua gets Logan this lap, Logan could get Kua on the next lap. Don't discount Callum, who's gaining on them. But Logan, who's great at saving ERS at the moment, has got all the tools he needs. Just like last week with Canada. The top 2 in the race make contact. And that allows Callum to get ahead of Kua and get ahead of Logan. Callum now switches back after the top 2 make contact at turn 3. Not for the first time. In the last 2 seasons we've seen this. Kua gets ahead of Logan. And Logan, does he try it to the inside? No. He knows Callum's got the 3 set, but can that get removed? Callum may have just found his opportunity here. And the top 4 fight, and that's going to bring Josh and Cargo's Blanc and Eggy back into it a bit. We're on to the last lap then, and finally something did happen between the top 2, who are now 2nd and 3rd. Callum, out of all that, remember he did spin Sin Icon, don't know if that was his fault or not. We're going to start the final lap, lap 36, the final rotation, the last 60 seconds of the Grand Prix. Start right now, and it's Kua versus Callum, with Logan having the ERS he needs, as the top 2 have less than his combined. Seb with another penalty, and here comes Logan then. Can he get the pair of them, just like he did to Josh Hewitt in the final chicane of the last lap? Kua to the inside of Callum. Remember, Logan just needs the DRS, and a good switchback as Kua sends Callum off, and there it is! Logan with a brilliant switchback, capitalising on the top 2, gets into the lead and has one hand on the trophy already. Seb watching this unfold, 3 wide battle for P2 now, down the inside. Kua maintains 2nd, Seb's back ahead of Callum, who's gone from 1st to 4th in the span of about half a lap. But back down the inside, he can't try. Logan played his cards perfectly, he's played them right. He won on track last time out, didn't convert it to victory due to the penalties. He lost out minorly to Callum by half a second. This time round, Logan's played his cards right, and for the 2nd season in a row, he really is going to be back on the top step once again, and back on the top step in Austria. Lugovic 09 wins the Austrian Grand Prix ahead of Kua. Callum on the podium, but no, it's going to be Josh Hewitt maintaining his no penalties in this race to get P3. Cargo's Blanc, a career best in P4, Callum 5th, Eggy 6th, Seb down to 7th. Luigi gets some good points in 8th. Smallnick 9th, Cal gets a point. Caldwell just missing out. Ruse probably be disqualified because they're not here. And Bluey Doggo will get P12. But yes, Logan, 2nd time this season, wins the Grand Prix. And the 2nd time in a row, wins the Austrian Grand Prix. Kua, good points on the board for P2. Josh Hewitt, P3. And Cargo's Blanc and Eggy getting some good points for Alfa Romeo. But yeah, Logan played his cards perfectly. Had the ERS saved. Got the great switchback. And won the Grand Prix. His racecraft is something to behold. Logovic, who started 5th, didn't quite get it in the one shot. His qualifying, it's good, but his racecraft and his race pace is so much better, and that's where you score the points. And at the moment, that's where Logovic extends his championship lead to, I think, over 30 points now as we approach nearly the halfway stage of the season. But Kira and Josh are going to be hungry. Some improvements there from the AlphaTauri to not get any penalties today. It's a podium, but yeah, Josh will be wanting more. Long old race director. Some good moments in that race, some good moves. A few incidents, but that's classic tier 2. But yeah, some good overall race. Right, let's get the top 3 in. Right, Logan, Kira. Well, I can't really invite Josh, but Alright, Logan, if you include your audio. Have you included your audio? Morgan, have you included your audio?
Oh. Yeah.
Alright, cool. Let me just go to the showroom. But what a race. And a battle between you two. Give me one sec.
Hold on.
Right then, we will start with the winner.
I don't know whether my audio's included, by the way. Because it's not letting me thingy.
It's fine, don't worry. Well then, Logovic 09 for the second time this season, and for the second season in a row, all of F1 23 Austria is you in EXFL Tier 2. You have won the Austrian Grand Prix once again. How do you feel?
Honestly, very shocked. I was expecting it to be between me and Kua. Obviously, we were kind of skeptical about that since about lap 26, something about that. We were like, oh, a straight fight to the end. Obviously, with Bluey being in the middle of both of the top 3 and the rest helped a bit because that was a bit of traffic. Maybe it wasn't a lot, but it helped. And honestly, we kept me and Kua, we kept it clean, and we just, to be honest, that's one of the most enjoyable races I've ever done.
Yeah, it's great to hear. A lot of good reception from that race then from a lot of people. But yeah, I'm sure you'll be the happiest of the lot getting the victory at a track you have done so well in the past. Do you like Austria? Is it up there with your favourites?
I've never liked Austria until this game. I can tell you that. And I came into this race like, oh, Austria. Never done this on no traction. Let's give it a go.
You were on no traction that race?
I was on no traction.
Oh, brilliant. Well done, mate. Actually, that one-shot quali, pretty much. How did it feel? Did you know it was going to rain soon?
We knew. My reaction was, get out now! Let's get out! Come on!
Because we never see you out that early. You're always out like middle of the session towards the end. So I was like, something's happening here.
Yeah, I was tempted to put in the Twitch chat actually. I was tempted to say earliest you'll ever see me out the pitch.
It probably is the earliest we'll ever see you out the pitch. But yeah, you had a 22-point lead before today. Hewitt finished 3rd, 11 points, so 33-point lead at the moment. But so congratulations. But someone who is chasing you down, F1 Cura, Morgan, are you there, mate?
I am.
Well done on P2. Some really good points for the team. Just take us through your race. How'd it go?
So qualifying wasn't the greatest. My qualifying around Austria isn't the greatest, but I was happy with the position that I was, and then I decided to do a mad strategy with the tires. Went for a 2-stop onto the medium compound, which worked in my favour, and then the last stint on the softs just wasn't the greatest, and I knew Logan was going to win, but it was down to my ERS battery usage. I didn't really manage it that well, and Logan just blew past me. So
Yeah, there was at one point you two had pretty similar ERS, then you used it a bit. I believe heading into the last lap or so, he had 40, you used it all. There was a bit of a moment heading into 3 between you two. What happened there?
I don't know. Can't lie. I don't really remember the
Oh,
situation. Wait, was that when?
that was when
Sorry.
Penultimate lap,
I
when
went off.
Callum switched back to you both.
Yeah.
Ah, that
Was it
might be
just
my
hard
fault.
racing, or?
I
Yeah,
mean,
hard racing.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. As Charles Leclerc once said, it was just a racing incident. So.
It's
And
an
then
incident.
Logan pretty much copied what Callum did. Got the brilliant switchback on the last lap on Callum and UQ. AQ, what happened on the last lap with Callum? Same corner.
It was just me not thinking. I was thinking about getting the DRS and then making the move in the same turn, and it just didn't work. I don't know why I stayed behind Callum, so I could get the DRS. But it's a learning curve, you know. You learn off your mistakes, and then you just
Exactly.
improve off them.
I mean, this is your 5th race, and you've been on the podium in 4 of the 5, I think, or all of them. Were you on the podium last week?
I was not. If it was
No, you
Canada, I
finished like
definitely wasn't.
6 or so. Yeah. So out of
Yeah.
5 races, you finished on the podium 4 times. You've won 2 of those. You're having a brilliant start to your Tier 2 career, and you're making your way up through the standings. Do you think you'll go enough to challenge this man for the title?
If I'm honest, maybe, but I don't really want to. After finding out that you have to be on medium traction control for Tier 1, so that might just stop me from winning it. But I don't know. See what happens when we get there.
Yeah, we'll see if the rules change for next season. That shouldn't stop you from trying your best for the rest of this season. But yeah, congratulations to Josh. Unfortunately, he's not on Xbox, so can't interview him. But yeah, he'll be hoping for more, but I'm sure he'll be happy with the podium. Well done Morgan on 2nd, well done Logan on the win. And now we head to round 10, the British Grand Prix, where a lot of our drivers are going to be hoping to get a great result. Logan included, Morgan included, and Josh also definitely included. That has been the Austrian Grand Prix. Alpine, there we go. Right, that's been the Austrian Grand Prix. We will see you next week for the British Grand Prix, round 10 of 22.